Now, they say to start a new advertising agency in the current economic climate, you either have to be brave or stupid. Well, I can give you a hint. The next story is not about an ad agency called House of Stupid. I had breakfast recently with the top dogs at a relatively new agency to talk about the changing landscape of South African advertising, the risks involved in setting up a new shop, and what to expect from creative thinkers in 2013. So let's just go back to that whole thing about the rise of the small agency in South Africa. You guys, I'm not going to list all the others, but there really has been a change in the landscape in South African advertising, hasn't there?
As we said, it's based off the fact that the pressures of the clients sometimes in big agencies are not felt because you don't get to sit with the owners of the business. And we, as I think in the smaller agencies, and because we're so closely linked to the success of our business, we need to make sure that our clients are successful, and their success is measured off how much stuff gets taken off the shelf, not by a Cannes Award-winning commercial or a great piece of radio that everybody's talking about. How many things did we sell? And in many instances, the interaction between the agency and the client in bigger agencies is not done by people who actually understand that process.
Yeah, but I mean, Vanessa, an incredible risk, I would imagine, for a big client, not even a big client, any client, to suddenly come to a small agency with absolutely no brand reputation. You all have individual reputation. Why would they do that?
Well,
I'd much rather go to someone with a track record.
Yeah, thanks. Me too.
Well, I think we touched on something earlier, and I think the individual reputations do play a huge part in that. And like Andrew said, the fact that you're an owner, you're committed to the success of your own business and obviously your client's success as well. But I think it's the fresh approach. It's fresh. We're not expecting a 500 million rand client to come along first year.
I think he is.
No, Rob mentioned $1 billion after a few, 1 billion after 5 years. So I think we'll manage who we take on, because I think you don't want to over-promise and under-deliver. We know what we're capable of. And we'll manage the process.
Are clients just sick of big agencies? Is that what she's trying to say in a very diplomatic and polite way?
I think that clients want a higher degree of love, and I think that that's the reality. There's always going to be this compromise between gearing, size, and the amount of love you do. And I think that also how you define a small agency. We don't consider ourselves a small agency in any way. But it's the medium agencies that really are able to do them. I think that, as Andrew says, clients know they get a disproportionate amount of love when you're with a smaller shop. It's that type of thing, and they want people that they can pick up the phone to and say, we're in real trouble, can we do something? And I think we've become non-reactive to our clients' needs in the larger firms. There's a gearing, there's a process, a brief goes, and 3 weeks later something's produced. You give a call to a smaller shop, brief goes in, 2 days later you have something that can work with. So they're becoming more reactive to it.
But we touched on the hard pitch. Because you're small doesn't mean your thinking can't go up against the best in the industry and the biggest in the industry. Your thinking can be big. Exactly. Yeah. And so a small agency can have really big thinking against a very big client. It doesn't. What size you are doesn't really matter in terms of the quality of your thinking.
And I mean, maybe the question needs to move away from size into local versus multinational. I think that there are some very big local agencies that are doing very well, and they are big, but they're local. So what a client wants is they want to know that they're getting value for what they're paying for. Where is the value in a multinational agency currently if you only reside in South Africa and only operate in South Africa? What is the additional value I get from a multinational agency? And I think that is the question that many clients are asking themselves. Do I get more from a multinational agency versus a national agency? Do I not get more actually from an agency that is South African based?
You've also got an interesting retainer model, haven't you?
Yeah.
And it puts high risk on you to deliver, or a pressure on you to deliver. How have you done that?
By being brave.
I want to get to the house of brave.
I mean, for example, in some instances, 65% of our revenue is at risk, and it's a huge amount, which means that we 65%. Is that with the possibility of unlimited revenue should the campaigns work. So it really is putting your X on the block and saying we're gonna make this work, which means I am far more involved in this process because I will not let creative happen for creative's sake or strategy for strategy's sake. I know at the end of the day that the success of the agency is dependent on creative work that works and self.
And Rob, to you, House of Brave. What the hell does that mean?
We read an article and it said it's probably the worst time in 100 years to start a business. That's the truth. And they said, do you do so?
Yeah, 1 year.
And they said, in reality, you have to be incredibly brave or incredibly stupid. And we thought the House of Stupid because they didn't quite give that confidence that we thought they would in similar times. So, and I just think that it comes down to, we are, as you can tell, very similar in many ways. But the one thing that does bind us together is this idea of bravery and the belief in bravery. And it's not, I don't want to go into the cliche kind of thing like a brave idea. It's more about doing things in a brave manner to achieve something different. And I think that's certainly the clients that have been attracted to us in the last year, and we've been very fortunate with the clients attracted, are brave clients. They know that they are facing different challenges than they were last year. You know, the old definition of madness was doing the same thing and expecting a different result. We're not doing the same thing, and I think that a lot of clients are embracing that. And it's not being built from the world of advertising, strangely enough.
Sorry, Vanessa.
Well, Andrew he always said that, we didn't want to go out and be Pearson, Shuttleworth, Rooyen. We didn't want the agency and the legacy of the agency to be about the names.
I thought it was that piercing that you did, John Pierce thing of food.
So we wanted to capture a spirit that everyone could kind of, be a part of and kind of influence our daily.
Well, as I said a little earlier, we've got big individual reputations in the advertising industry, so give us some pointers for 2013 maybe.
The creative product, it's different. You've had to recalibrate the way you think. How have you had to alter your mindset?
Working more closely with Rob. What Rob really understands is exactly those influences that are changing the marketing dynamic. So it's yes, people are kind of they're wanting return on investment. So it's looking at what can I do in a retail context to make it more exciting, to make it more dynamic, bringing creativity, kind of meshing those two things together. I think retail, if you mention that to a creative, is like, oh my god, I don't want to touch it, don't want to go near it. But yet that's where most marketing budgets are playing, with the money. So it's how can we take high-end creative thinking, high-end creative execution, and kind of combine that with that retail approach.
So strategy has never been more important than it is.
Absolutely.
I think I'm very nervous of the word strategy because I think that, Bill Bernbach said a lovely quote. He says, if you plan the sale, you plan the ad. And I think that we've created in the last 10 years in South Africa, we've created an industry of what I like to call creative planners, not business planners. And I think that that's what we've got to be very careful about when we talk about strategy. Strategy does play a role if it's business and marketing strategy, not communication strategy. Because communication strategy, read a book, you can do it. It's not rocket science.
Lots of them,
I think it's more understanding what is the business challenge. And I think that's why you see a lot of consultancies that have been born out of it now, where people are talking to people about their sales process, their business challenge, and then they filter it into the advertising world. In reality, in the old days, we used to be able to do that. We understood the business challenge. And I think that's always the nuance here. It's understanding what needs to be achieved and then being able to add the creative filter to it. And that's, so I agree with you 100%, but I'm just very nervous of this abused word called strategy because, there are thousands of strategists in our industry. I can probably have an index of 50 in South Africa of people that can actually really understand the business challenge, be able to leave it in a place that gives them some putty to work with, because there's also that bridge that you need to do where there's a business strategist, a marketing strategist, and a communication strategist. And we've tended to go more towards this because the idea has become the holy grail.
Coming up on